Hello and welcome to Jessie Bear Book Club. Well, I suppose I should say Jessie Bear Cookery Club, because today we're making the recipe from All About History magazine, issue number 107. And this is a recipe I have wanted to try out for so long, but I kept putting it off because it has a very strange name, and the name is Tomato Soup Cake. And it was invented in the 1920s when tinned soups became really big, and it was actually featured on, not Heinz, Campbell's tomato soup tins as a recipe. It was really popular in America during the Great Depression, and it was also super popular in Britain during rationing. And I thought it looked really good. I thought it was going to be like a mix between a carrot cake and fruit cake. So I was going, I like it, I like carrot cake, I like fruit cake, but the fact there's a whole tin of tomato soup in it was kind of putting me off. But I finally bit the bullet and made it, and I was not disappointed. Also, I made it for Valentine's Day, hence the red t-shirt, red lipstick. Oh yeah, you like Jurassic Park? Jurassic Park. I tried to tone in with the yellow and the red, don't know if it's working. Anyway, you will see how it came out in a minute. So, tomato soup cake looks super complicated, but most of the ingredients are spices, so don't worry. I decided to use a heart tin for Valentine's Day, and you start by creaming your butter and sugar and getting all your dry ingredients together. Then you add your egg to your butter and sugar mixture, and then you do the really horrible bit where you add the tomato soup, and it looks like vomit. I really wasn't sure at this point when making this cake if it was going to turn out all right, especially when I kept adding the tomato soup and it kept getting more and more watery. Then you add your flour and it does start to come together and look like an actual cake batter. And it tasted pretty good, won't lie. I did try it uncooked. I know you're not meant to, but when it started to thicken up, I was like, yeah, looks like a cake batter. Tasted like a cake batter. Then I added my raisins, which kind of made it look less appetizing somehow. Not really sure about that. And my nuts, I chopped all my nuts up before I added them, so you get small pieces of walnut. Nobody wants a massive piece of walnut. Put it in its lovely tin, look at it there. It took longer to bake than it said on the recipe. It said on the recipe 30 minutes, I had to put it in for 45, but it was still really nice. Then I made icing. The recipe called for quite a lot of icing, and I personally thought it was too much. If I was going to make this cake again, which I probably will, I'll have the icing. As you probably seen, it came out really well. It was still a little bit gooey in the middle when I cut into it, but not bad gooey, just like gooey, like cake gooey. But it was nice. I think it probably could have done with another 5 minutes in the oven, but it was starting to go a bit crispy on top and I didn't want it to burn. So the recipe calls for you to put it in for 30 minutes. I would definitely say 40 to 45 minutes instead. Also, the ratios they give you for the cream cheese frosting, there's too much of it. I mean, if you're a super sugary sweet person, go right ahead, do it. I am not a super sugary sweet person, so I would probably half this recipe if I was making it again for the icing. And I think if I was going to make it again, I would make 2 cakes, like 2, and then sandwich it together in the middle with the frosting. I think that would be super tasty. The best way to describe this cake would probably be a mix between a really nice fruit cake / Dundee cake and ginger cake that you can get in the shops, like Lagel's ginger cake. So good. And the weirdest thing is there's no ginger in it. It's just lots of different spices. So I will read out the ingredients. 1 can of condensed tomato soup, 220 grams of flour, plain, granulated sugar, 200 grams, raisins, 150 grams, baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons, ground nutmeg, 1.5 teaspoons, ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon, ground cloves, 1/2 teaspoon, and 1 egg. So this is very low on the butter and egg ratio as well. That's why it was good for rationing in the Great Depression, I suppose. And I like rationing recipes. I think they're super interesting. Like mock crab made with egg. Who thought of that? And then for the frosting, there is 170 grams of cream cheese, 250 grams icing sugar, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I would definitely cut that in half if I was making that. I'm going to leave the recipe ingredients down below and you can follow along. It's a very simple recipe. It only took me about 30 minutes to put it all together and then another 40 to 45 to cook. So it's a very, very easy recipe. I would highly recommend it. I hope you all have a fabulous Valentine's Day and give me a heart. Give me a like and a subscribe. Do you like my heart? It's got arms. It's cute. Okay, bye.